Slafkovsky, la passe devant le tir, il est mis! Pas possible! Alexandre Carrier encore!
The Montreal Canadiens host the struggling Vancouver Canucks, losers of 6 straight at the Bell Center. The Habs can't afford to look past the Canucks. They have a string of really important in-conference games coming up, and they really need to bank these 2 points available to them against the NHL's worst team. Josh Anderson was back at practice today for the Canadiens, but was not ready to make his return to the lineup. And speaking of practice, Lane Hutson given a mandatory rest day, not allowed to practice. Bless that kid, he is such a winner and has the highest compete level I have ever seen. No change to the forwards or defensemen who laced up the skates on Saturday against the Red Wings. Nikita Tolopilo gets the start for the Vancouver Canucks in net. He's 2-1-0 with a .274 goals against average and a .911 save percentage. And in net for the Montreal Canadiens, it's Jakub Dobeš, his first start in 11 days. 13-5-3 with a .301 goals against average and an .889 save percentage. The Canucks caught a break early as the officials missed a clear early high stick by Pierre-Olivier Joseph in the face of Cole Caulfield, but it was a nice quick start for the Habs. Oliver Kapanen was allowed to walk in close on Tolopilo, but the Belarusian netminder made a nice early save. Then the Canucks got their first nice looks after a nice move by Connor Garland, and he put a shot wide. The third line had a really nice shift for the Canadiens. They generated a pair of decent shots, one by Gooley, one by Jackeye, and that shift kind of set the tone for the rest of the team, and the Canadiens really started to turn it on from that point. Lots of chances for the second line led to the best one of the game so far by Ivan Demidov off of a wicked deke. Tolopilo got just enough of the puck to keep it out of the net, and the rebound came right to Oliver Kapanen, who looked primed to hammer home the rebound for his 16th of the year, but Tolopilo got the stick down and made an unreal stick save to somehow keep the puck out. The Habs got up on shots 7-1 at that point, and it was apparent that they were the far more dangerous team. They just needed to find a way to break through. And the chances from the defensemen continued for Montreal as Gooley ripped a shot right off the post on a nice feed from Blais. Then Demidov and Hudson both had a really nice look and were both frustrated by Tolopilo. Dobeš was hardly tested at all through the first half of the period, and that lack of action seemed to work against him. A deflected point shot from Hronek was stopped by Dobeš, but the rebound fell right to Elias Pettersson. He deposited the puck into the net, and he gave the Canucks a 1-0 lead, despite Vancouver being badly outchanced early. And it's really unfortunate for Montreal because they had the better look, they had the hits, their defensemen were engaged, they were joining the offensive barrage, but they fell behind 1-0. Now it's a matter of seeing how they respond to the pressure of falling behind by a goal. Montreal came right back and continued generating looks. Demidov again setting up his line mates. This time, Oliver Kapanen with a chance for a wide open Kapanen, but he just couldn't get his stick on it. He missed a glorious opportunity to draw the team even. And with just under 2 minutes to go, Phil Deneau draws a penalty as he was the victim of a hook. The Habs were gifted a tremendous opportunity to tie the game late with the first power play of the game, and Noah Dobson capitalizes on that opportunity immediately. Dobson, newly added to the first unit in place of Lane Hutson, uncorked a wrister from the blue line. Juraj Slafkovsky in front of the net, got his body in front of Tolopilo to obstruct his view, and the puck found its way into the back of the net. Dobson awarded his 9th goal of the season, and the involvement of the Canadiens defensemen in their offensive opportunities was definitely noticeable throughout the period. Lane Hutson made some terrific moves in the offensive zone. That led to a really nice chance for Caulfield and tight, but the period ended even at 1. Arber Xhekaj really stood out to me as a positive in the first period. He was really engaged, generated multiple chances in the offensive zone, he threw 2 or 3 really big hits, and he was solid in his own end. Montreal likely deserved a better fate than being tied 1-1 after that first period, but they're still in a good spot to come out with 2 points against an opponent who is primed for the taking in the Vancouver Canucks. And in the second period, the Canadiens get off to a quick start. It was Noah Dobson again generating a great look. He forced his way towards the net, outmuscled the defenders, but Nikita Tolopilo was equal to the task and made a terrific pad save to prevent Dobson from scoring his second goal of the game. And if I'm going to praise Jackeye for his strong plays in the first period, I have to criticize him for his mistakes. A really poor turnover in which Jackeye just threw the puck into space in the center of his defensive zone. It was picked up by Radu, who directed a shot on net. The rebound came right in front of Dobeš, who for some reason fell down, was beaten on the rebound by Evander Kane. It's not a goal you'd like to see, and it was really a bad mistake by Jackeye. You can't really blame Dobeš for either of the goals against at this point, but he really seems to be swimming in his crease a lot, and this 11-day gap between games really is too many. Something has to be done about this 3-man rotation. It cannot go on for much longer. Dobeš or Fowler is likely going to have to find themselves in the AHL getting some more reps, because unfortunately for Dobeš especially, it just doesn't seem like he can get into a rhythm at this rate. Either way, it's another hole the Canadiens are going to have to dig themselves out of. The Habs go right back to pressing the Canucks and pushing for the equalizer. First, a chance by Caulfield on a 2-on-1 isn't able to beat Talopolo, but the Habs maintain pressure in the offensive zone. Then Carrier makes a nice decision to cut towards the net and Suzuki spots him. Carrier gets the puck, wrists it by Talopolo, and he draws the Canadiens even. 2-2, the Habs are right back in it. They fought back. Now can they push and get the lead? Just 20 seconds after Carrier scores to tie the game, lightning strikes again. Twice in the span of 20 seconds, Alexandre Carrier charges the net and is set up with an absolutely gorgeous pass, this time by Juraj Slafkovsky. Carrier able to lift the puck over Talopolo, give the Canadiens their first lead of the game. That's 3 goals by defensemen for the Canadiens. Their defensemen are engaged offensively. They are contributing in enormous ways, and so many teams are not lucky enough to have this luxury of offensively gifted defensemen. The Canadiens go up for the first time in this one. But unfortunately, Xhekaj and Guhle get crossed up. Xhekaj loses his stick as he collides with Guhle. It leads to a 2-on-1 break for the Canucks. And O'Connor is the recipient of a nice cross-crease pass. And Dolbesch gets beat for the 3rd time on just the 12th shot of the game for the Vancouver Canucks. And again, this one isn't on Dolbesch, but in my mind, unfortunately, he's just playing his way into Laval at this rate. I don't blame him for any of the goals against at this point. None of the goals against Dolbesch have been his fault per se, but he's a very streaky goaltender, and without an opportunity to get into a rhythm, it just seems to be hurting his game quite a bit. So Vancouver ties the game, and despite being outplayed through the first half of the game, it's all tied up at 3. And Montreal's forwards were once again in this game, especially in the first half, guilty of making one too many passes on a few occasions. And after that 3rd Canucks goal, the game seemed to kind of fall into quicksand for a little bit. Montreal still got chances, but nothing was too dangerous. The Canucks had a lot of offensive zone time, but they weren't really able to get anything on target towards Dolbesch. Even though Dolbesch looked really nervous in net, they weren't testing him all that often. Montreal were clearly making a more concerted effort to direct more shots to the net, especially from the offensive blue line. All 3 pairings were directing as many shots to the net as they could. The forwards were really working hard to get traffic in front of the goaltender, and the chances continued to come on the rush for the Canadiens, but Talopolo really did play quite well through 40 minutes. He stopped 23 of 26 shots that were put on the net by the Canadiens, so the Habs go into the second intermission tied at 3. They should be up in this one, but unfortunately they've had a few too many unforced errors, and it's allowed the Canucks to hang around in this one. The good news is for the Canadiens, they've been the much better team through 40 minutes, and they have another 20 minutes to go against the last place team to go out and win a single period in order to pick up a crucial 2 points in the standings. So the 3rd one starts, and the story of this game continues. Just 29 seconds in, it's another goal by a Montreal Canadiens defenseman. This time it's Mike Matheson walking in from the blue line towards the high slot, picking a spot and beating Talopolo to put the Canadiens back in front by a goal. The defenseman, the story of the night, 100%. Extremely engaged in the offensive attack, and they've been responsible for each of the Canadiens' 4 goals up to this point. And just 39 seconds after Matheson puts the Habs up by a goal, Juraj Slafkovsky continues his own personal streak of red-hot hockey. He takes his turn, ripping a wrist shot past Talopolo. He doubles the Habs' lead to 2, and what else can be said about Juraj Slafkovsky at this point? He has absolutely thrived after being given the opportunity to drive a line. He's been the veteran presence, which is still so weird to say, but for his 2 rookie teammates, he really is the veteran presence. He's the calming presence on that line, and he's looking more and more like a dominant, game-changing force. He's evolving. He is so phenomenal. The crowd really get into the game at that point. Another wave breaks out. It seems like every time the Canadiens are winning at home, there's some massive wave going on. They're screaming ole ole, and the Habs are just pouring on the pressure. Talopolo is just under siege at this point. And these aren't just weak shots from distance that he's facing. These are high danger slot chances and good looks off the rush. Next up on the score sheet for the Canadiens is Oliver Kapanen, who it feels like could have already had 3 goals by this point. Juraj Slafkovsky does a phenomenal job, wins a puck battle at center ice. This was a terrific play by Slafkovsky. He works the puck to Demidov. Demidov rushes it into the zone, feeds Oliver Kapanen across the ice, and finally he gets one by Talopolo. It's a 3rd goal in 5 minutes and 36 seconds for the Canadiens in the 3rd period, and they have just blown this one open 6-3. Slafkovsky, 3 points, a goal and 2 assists. Demidov, 3 assists. The Habs are rolling, and the shot total at this point is starting to look more and more like the final score of a Patriots-Jets game. Karaoke night gets well and truly underway at the Bell Center with another rendition of Sweet Caroline. The Canucks do get a shot. Carrier takes a penalty for cross-checking just over halfway into the period. He puts the Canucks on the man advantage for the first time in the game. Montreal's penalty kill, though, does a really nice job. They give the Canucks all kinds of trouble gaining the zone. Vancouver is only able to generate 1 shot on goal on the man advantage. The Canadiens kill it off and put this one into cruise control for the final 10 minutes of the third. With about 3 minutes to go, the Canucks do come alive, but it was clear Montreal was not really pushing anymore. Hoglander hits a post with 3 minutes to go. Then he gets stopped by Dobeš. The Canadiens take a hooking penalty. They go shorthanded for the final 2 minutes of this one. The Canucks hit another post. This time it's Pettersson. Then the rebound comes within just inches of being scooped into the net. But despite the late looks by the Vancouver Canucks, this game was well and truly in hand for the Montreal Canadiens. They skated to a 6-3 victory, they took care of business, and they beat a team that they had to beat to secure 2 points, keeping pace with the Lightning, keeping pace with the Red Wings, keeping pace with the Panthers, all of whom picked up wins tonight. Montreal, 40 shots for the first time this season, 6 goals yet again. They have done that quite a few times this year. The offense has been lights out. Demidov takes the 3rd star for his 3-assist effort, Slafkovsky takes the 2nd star for his 1-goal, 2-assist night, and Alexandre Carrier takes the 1st star for his 2-goal performance and 100th and 101st career point in the NHL. What an offensive performance by the Canadiens. Defensively, they were quite strong, a couple unforced errors, and a few mistakes by Jakub Dobeš, but I cannot get mad at the guy. Those goals were not his fault, and he has had so few opportunities to start games. He's just had so much time off. It's really tough for him to get going. Anyway, you guys, that's going to be it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and have a great night, guys.
Yes! All right, boys. Let's get 2 points tomorrow.